Okay, guys. Well, that sounds great. Congratulations, and I'll talk to you soon. Yes. Hey, folks. Ashley Garner here, WRAR President. I'm here to talk to you about statuses on the MLS, pending versus active statuses. And I just hung up with a seller client, and we're very excited to say that we just got their house under contract. So obviously, everybody's happy. One of the conversations I had with them during this phone call was, now that we have your house under contract, how are we going to show it in the multiple listing? Are we going to show it as pending, or are we going to show it as active due diligence? In this case, we used the standard North Carolina offer to purchase form, which includes the due diligence period. So we have the option to show it either pending, or during the due diligence period, we can show it as active due diligence. So I was explaining to them why they may want to do either one. If we show it as pending, obviously it's not going to show up in any of the search returns as an active listing. If we show it as active due diligence, then it will show up as an active status, and realtors that are doing their searches for properties that meet their criteria will see that come up as one of the returns. Likewise, buyers who are out there in the internet world will see that house show as an active listing, even though it's under contract. So since we have the option, in this case, the seller decided to make their status show as pending. And the reasons that they thought that was a good idea, number one, we had the house pre-inspected, so we weren't expecting any big problems on the inspection. Number two, we had it priced very, very good, and so we weren't expecting any problems with the appraisal. And number three, the buyer was very solid financially, and they had been pre-approved, pre-qualified, and had already made application with their lender. So we decided we'd go ahead and make it pending, and then that way they wouldn't have to keep the house clean for all the showings anymore. So remember that you have the option, pending or active due diligence. Another case where you have the choice is when you have a short sale listing. And if you get a short sale contract, the seller accepts it and sends it on up to the bank, then you can decide, do you make it pending or do you make it active contingent? It'd be active contingent because the contract is contingent upon approval from the bank. Same situation, do you want it to show and continue to advertise, or do you just want to have it as pending and then no more showings? One case where you do not have the choice between pending and an active status is when the buyer has a house to sell. So it's truly a contingent contract. In other words, the buyer can't close on the next house until they sell the current house that they own. In that case, you're required to show it as active contingent. And one last status that we're seeing a little bit of now is active temporarily off the market. That's used when it's a lender-owned property and all the terms have been agreed to in the deal, but it takes a few days until the lender gets all the paperwork right. In that situation, the listing broker has the option of saying active temporarily off the market versus pending. So we did this podcast to highlight the fact that realtors and their clients get together and make this decision on whether to show it as pending or one of the active statuses. Wanted to make sure you knew you had that option. And one thing I wanted to remind you about, we now have the dates for the National Open House Weekend, and that's going to be Saturday and Sunday, April 28th and 29th. So stay tuned to WRAR.com and keep an eye on your email to find out how the board is going to support you as members. And we encourage you to take part in the National Open House Weekend with your fellow realtors from all over the country. And until next time, this is Ashley Garner. Have a good month.